Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. It's still Pride. I did not get the socks on fast enough. I was trying. Thanks to my cousin Michelle and my goddaughter for the Pride socks. Hey. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday. It's another episode of the Roundtable with me. I'm Robert Bannon. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited for you to be here. This is a big show. This show is giant. This is a special show. Angelica Ross, we fell in love with her on Pose. She's a star. Then you fell in love with her on American Horror Story. And now she's singing. She's a singing superstar. She's here. She's got a brand new single. She's going to talk about all the things that we want to know about. Plus, there's a show and an app called Fox Soul, which is really fun because it talks about like gossip and fun stuff like that. And they have a show on it called The House. And the guests are tonight the 4 co-hosts of The House. Wait till you hear all about it. It's Wednesday. Did I say it's Thursday? You know, I've been so confused about what day this show is. Look, I'm almost done with work. One more day. My hair is a mess. The show is a mess. Hi, Abby, my friend Abby. I thought of you. I said to you in the pre-show that Nina West is going to be here. And I'm excited. I know you're a giant fan, so she's going to be here the week after 4th of July. Yes, what I meant, Abby, was that it's Thursday just for you and everyone watching in the UK. But for us, it's Wednesday. You know? Confusing. Well, everyone, welcome to the show today. I'm so excited to have you here. Are you surviving? This seems like the longest Pride of all time. Is it still Pride? It's still Pride. If you're watching, make sure you say, hey, we love comments here. Tell us where you're from. Even my mother. Right, Mom? Hi, Mom. Thank you for being here. My mom will ask you to contribute to the show for her poor son, public school teacher, who just is putting the show on from the love and enjoyment he has for showbiz. You could send a Venmo to @RBannon if you enjoy the show, and every dollar we spend goes to my future kids' college fund. No, every dollar you send goes to promote the show so we get better guests by having more people. So thank you. You can Venmo me and we'll be eternally grateful. Right, Mom? Thank you so much. Everybody, hey, Christine. Happy Pride. Happy Roundtablers. Hi, Christine Clifton. How's North Carolina? I'm thanking you all for tuning in tonight. I'm promising you a good show. I hope so, at least. Can I tell you? Well, I guess I could tell you about next week before we start. Next week, we have a really fun show. Next week, a gay country singer, a gay baseball player, and a gay comic walk into a bar. How else would you end Pride than that? I don't know. We're going to end Pride with people who have all different jobs that you may not know are part of the Pride Rainbow. And you'll join me June 29th, Wednesday for us in the States, Thursday for Abby in the UK. I'll be live from Palm Springs, and we will be doing the show on Wednesday night. So make sure you tune in. Brian is going to be here. He's a baseball player that's out. We have the country singer Hayden Josephs is here. He's amazing. And then we have Zach Zimmerman, who's got a top 10 country album, who's really funny and irreverent and ridiculous. And wait till you see what kind of mess we will get into together. So join me on June 29th. I thought I had like a banner for that. I do. Here it is. There you go. Brian Ruby, Zach Zimmerman, Hayden Josephs, Wednesday, June 29th. So make sure you join us next week. Country, comedy, and pride. What else is there? Also, thank you to everyone who joined me on Monday. We did our first lunch episode Monday at 12:30. I don't have good Wi-Fi in my classroom, but we did have Robbie Roselle and we did have Debbie Wildman. Thank you to Robbie. Thank you to Debbie. Debbie Wildman's album and her show is on Saturday. You can catch it at Carnegie Hall on Saturday, and you can stream her album. It's called I'm Still Here. She recreates Judy Garland's voice for modern day classics. It's a brilliant album. Thank you, Robbie, and thank you, Debbie. Robbie's new single, When Bert's Not Here, is gorgeous. We share a music director, and our music director, Yaz Fukuoka, is the one who put together Robbie's single, and it's really beautiful. So make sure you take a peek and you check it out. I'm happy you had a nice Monday treat, Abby. It was not an early time or an easy time for you, but I really appreciated you joining us for the surprise. All right, let's get right to it. It's time for a week in review. I watched this show back, and there's a couple of things I don't do well. I mute myself and forget to unmute myself, and I click the button before I'm done talking. So I'm always like, whoops. And now I watch it back, and now I see it because I was like, maybe I need to check it out. We're getting to you, Latte. I didn't forget about you. Latte's going to Rosalind Pride Saturday. Pride never ends. Pride goes all year long. I was going to joke, and I was like, starting in July, no more gay people are on the show. I can't wait to hear about your trip to Rosalind Pride. We went to Delaware Pride together, and it was a fun time. All right, so I have to tell you my week in review. There's a show playing right now. This show is playing right now at the Public, and the Public is the home to where shows like Hair and Hamilton got its start. The Public puts on some of the best art and work going on in New York City. It always has. It does Shakespeare in the Park. It's a cool space with multiple theaters. Joe's Pub is in the Public. So when I heard that Fat Ham was going to be there, James I. James wrote it. It's based on Hamlet, but it's a modern, queer, African-American barbecue family that recreates a lot of what you think of in Fat Ham and Hamlet. I can't tell you more than that because it would be a spoiler. But it is the 2022 winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So we're talking about something here that's special and something here that is amazing. And it's running until July 17th. I hope you can run and get your tickets. If there are tickets even available, they've extended and extended and extended. And James I. James wrote this. He's brilliant. Sahim Ali, who is one of the head people over there at the Public, directed it. It's in conjunction with the National Black Theater. Here's the cast. You may recognize the gentleman in the middle, Marcel Spears. He's on The Neighborhood on CBS. They're a brilliant set of actors. There's Marcel Spears. And you need to check this show out. It had me laughing. It had me crying. It's 95 minutes with no intermission, which gives me joy. It's in 3/4 of the round. And thank you to the public for having us. And I am encouraging you, my friend Mike and I went there on last Friday, and it was so damn good. Check out Fat Ham. Get tickets before it comes, hopefully, to Broadway. All right. So thank you, everyone over there at the public. You guys know what you're doing for sure. That's the truth. This was our happy hour right before I went. That's my school, and that's my ex-wife, which is a whole side story, which you have to come to see one of my shows if you want to know the story. So it was Sam, and then that was Mike. There's Mike. And then this is Aunt Miss Bellucci, who's the gym teacher. We all went there. We had a little moment. I had some guacamole. And then me and Mike headed over to Fat Ham. And then Saturday was, this was Father's Day weekend, right? So Saturday, I celebrated Father's Day with my father and my brother and my sister-in-law. And we went over to eat at one of our favorite restaurants, which is called Burger and Lobster, which they're literally, the menu is burgers, lobster, and lobster rolls. And it's a really cute spot. And my father, of course, got some poor big giant lobster that, poor guy, and we had to crack it apart. And then we went and checked out Mr. Saturday Night. That was his Father's Day gift. We all went as a family to see Mr. Saturday Night. Billy Crystal is Billy Crystal. It's lovely to see him on a stage. And my buddy Shoshana Bean is a star, and I loved her numbers. And it's an interesting show. Jason Robert Brown wrote the music. It's fun. It's a fun show. It's a fun show to take your dad to for Father's Day. And I like it. Burger and Lobster is elite. You know, they have them, Abby. They have burger and lobsters, I heard, in the UK. Have you been? Have you had an overpriced burger? They're good. They have endless fries, like the Red Robin. Check. I should be getting free appetizers for this plug. What the hell? Somebody better call Burger and Lobster. Because God knows when the bill came, I didn't get a free French fry. Damn it. So make sure you check out Burger and Lobster. And if you can, Mr. Saturday Night, if that's your thing, it's a cute show for sure. I love it. Yes, they have a couple in London. I heard about that for sure. But Abby says nothing beats the Red Robin. And you know what, Abby? For $10, you get endless fries with that little Red Robin seasoning. Yum, Red Robin. I'm with you, Abby. You don't need an overpriced burger. If we keep working on this, we're going to get free burgers. So that was a really nice night on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I had the pleasure of going to Wayne Pride. The students held an event. The students held an event on Sunday that was student run. It was Juneteenth. It was to give back to community and call out intolerance. And it was really nice to see the students be active and a part of the community in Wayne. And I came and sang a little bit. Really nice people, really sweet day. Really had a lovely time in Wayne. So thank you, everyone of Wayne, New Jersey. I am in a William Patterson alumni, which is in Wayne, and I'm working with William Patterson now to bring Broadway performers to the New Jersey area to give lectures and conversations. We're going to do like an Inside the Actors, this show, but on the college campus with Broadway stars. So I'm super excited to have that all happen and start in Wayne. So it was nice to go there and meet some of the community. Abby, I will talk to you about carbs all night. I will talk to you about carbs for 10 hours. I've never had garlic fries. Do they have garlic fries at Red Robin in America? Because I'm confused. I don't think we do. Hi, Alessandra Vaughn. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Make sure you check out the rest of the show on YouTube. It's going to be a good show. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Thanks for saying hi. All right. So what else happened? So my brother got back his wedding pictures. So hold on, because I want to show you a couple of them. And then I went and saw Buzz Lightyear yesterday. That's my goddaughter, Vanessa. That's the little Sam. And I love when people dress up for the movies. Like, look at him in his little Mickey Mouse goes to space. We went to the movies. I go to the movies because it's air conditioned and there's popcorn. And the movies sometimes are good. So it was a fun one. I love it. Abby, yes, please finish this because I need to know. And I'm going to the UK. All right. Yes, the garlic Parmesan fries in the US. We don't have Red Robin here. Oh, so they're not at Red Robin. They're not at Red Robin. But what you're saying is you like garlic fries, period. Well, Yankee Stadium used to have garlic fries. Look, this got me. Everyone's in a tizzy now. Oh, lattes, I hear you. What I was saying is, does Red Robin have garlic fries? But America has garlic. We are America. We love carbohydrates. We are the carbohydrate capital of the world. Right? See, I'm confused now. The garlic and Parmesan fries are in the Red Robin, but you don't have Red Robins in the UK. When you were here in Maryland, I'm going to go to Red Robin. Abby, I'm exhausted. And they're unlimited. So what's better than that? Hi, Christy. Welcome to this messy show where we're arguing about French fries before we get the cast of the house on to argue, and then and then we're gonna have them on. And I love the house too. I love Cheryl. I love Aaron. I love Chris. I love Antonio. I was just telling them before the show started that I really, really loved the episode with Funky Divina on Controversial. I can't wait for you, Christy, to see them, and welcome. I hope you like our messy show too. We have a good time. We just we talk about everything right now, French fries. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We must partake, lattes. I would like a garlic French fry. I've talked way too much. Yes, 2 theater shows, Lobsters and Burgers, family and friends. It was pretty perfect. It was a nice weekend for sure. Thank you so much, Christine. I so appreciate you. My family, my brother got his wedding pictures. Look at my family. That's me. That's my brother. That's my sister-in-law, Christina. There's my mom, and there's my dad. And I loved these pictures. There's so many of them. They're so good. Look at me and my goddaughter just partying it up at the wedding. I love happy moments. We've had so many sad moments these past few years, right? Isn't it nice to do something to celebrate and have fun and be with people we love and exciting things and happy things and moments? They sure give me life. So I had to share that with you. Okie dokie. Let's see. I'm friends that are in the crew of the stuff of the house. Well, yes, Christy, I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, especially that you know the crew and stuff over there at Fox Soul. I was so grateful for Fox Soul for letting us have them because I didn't know much about them, but I sure do now. And I'm obsessed a little bit. I can't wait to chat. Alrighty. So what do I have for you? My shameless plug.
Because I'm shameless.
So here's my shameless plug. I do have concerts coming up, and we've just started to really push my concerts coming up in the New England area. I'm going to be in New England in July. I've never played Maine, and I've never played Massachusetts. So come on up to the Booth Bay Opera House if you want to see me in July. I'll be doing a Great American Songbook Broadway show, and then I'll be doing my Rewind show at the JMac in Worcestershire, Massachusetts. And I hope you can come on by and check it out. If you're in the area, if you're not in the area, please share and let somebody know, because I don't know many people up in Massachusetts. And it's going to be a fun show. It is going to be a good time, and I have some magical things planned for you. Since this is my shameless plug, here's a little commercial in case you don't know about me and my music. If you don't know about my album and you don't know what I do, which just so happens to have the website address for the Worcestershire show. So take a peek at my album commercial so you know a little bit more about me.
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. I think that he knew me. I think that he knew me long ago. And when you love your son, you fight him or let him grow. You got a smile so bright, you know you could have been a candle. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? So I had to let you know, just this once, just this once. Be
I guess that's the perk of having your own show. You can shamelessly plug yourselves. I forgot one thing. So come on down, come see me, and check out the show if you haven't seen it. Will it be videotaped, Christy? These shows are not going to be, but I will be doing shows in New York in October. Where are you from, Christy? Tell us. We love to meet new people. Tell us where you're from, and then maybe we could tell you where we're going to be. And if you're in LA, I'm going to be in LA in November. So doing a concert on the 3rd. I did have one thing. Oh, hi, Rhoda. Hi, Rhoda Rosado. I'm Robert. Welcome to the show. I'm in Maine on the day before, 2 days before that. So I'm in Maine on July 20th. July 20th, Booth Bay Opera House. And you could come check it out. Thank you, lattes. And South Carolina. Hey, South Carolina. Christine is from North Carolina. So nice to see you here. I'm going to be in Maine, Booth Bay Opera House. If you want all the dates and the information, just head on over to www.robertbannon.com. Shamelessly promoting myself. It's terrible. I'm a whore. Whore myself out here. That's the only way we get things done. I did go to Pride at 54 Below. Do you mind spending 2 more minutes with me? Can I show you the clip of the performers that were at Pride at 54 Below? It was a really nice night. Take a peek at what you missed at Pride at 54 Below, and then I pinky swear promise we're going to bring Angelica Ross out.
But when I saw her lay down like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. I'm the witch, you're the worm. None of it seems to matter anymore. Like a stream that needs to go. Sometimes it's too much for even me. But well, the world says yes, then who am I to say no? Know that he was beaten now. That's enough for you.
Conrad Ricamora, who was just in Little Shop of Horror, who's from How to Get Away with Murder. He sings. He was really nice. What a nice guy. Yes, Abby Thompson loves Jackie Cox. I know, Abby. I know. We're going to get Jackie to come on. I met Jackie's man who does her makeup. Really, really great. And yes, Christy, I'd love to be in North Carolina, South Carolina, all the Carolinas. Coming to Carolina in my mind. I would like to sing it there. I'll work on it. I hope we can make something happen. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Ladies and gents, it's time. It's time for us to bring on a guest for sure. And yeah, he's a good guest. You know what? Let's hold the guest. This young lady is celebrating a special birthday today, and she's my buddy, and I've had a fun time getting to know her this year, and I appreciate her and all the support. She's come to New York to see me. She's come to Delaware to see me, and it's her birthday, and she's spending her birthday night with us. So with you and with me. So my lattes, Janelle, lots of lattes yourself. Let's all join in and wish her the happiest birthday. The best is yet to come, and may it just get better and better. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Janelle. Lots of lattes. Happy birthday to you. Wish you the best. Have the best birthday ever. Happy birthday to you, Janelle. Thanks for spending it with us. We have a special guest here for your birthday, and I'm a fan. Take a peek.
Can hear my heart and turn these tears to dust. Only you can be so far and still so close to me.
services out here.
We just met him. Talked us into giving him a ride.
Haven't you seen the posters of the girls that have gone missing along this highway? I'm gonna need to see some IDs.
Well, everybody, I don't think there has been a performance that I have ever seen on a television screen that broke my heart, made me laugh, made me cry like Candy and Pose. And I have been watching and rooting and cheering and been so excited on social media, been posting that Miss Ross, Angelica Ross, is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelica Ross.
Hello.
It is such an honor and to have you join me. Thank you so much for being here.
Listen, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Well, that is 100% true. I mean, I am a big fan of all of your work now, but when I was first introduced to you as Candy, that last episode, that moment, well, that may be the best hour of television I've ever seen in my entire life.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's so amazing that years later, people are still talking about, Candy in this moment. Like, and obviously, people know my name is Angelica Ross. In case you didn't know, my name is Angelica Ross. But, people call me Candy everywhere I go. And, I honestly don't take it like in any kind of bad way, because I feel the love that they have for Candy. And it's such a blessing as an actor, to have been able to be a part of something and do something that resonates with people so strongly.
Well, you brought so much life to that role, and that's thanks to your artistry. So thank you for sharing a piece of yourself with that, for sure. I know that you are originally from Wisconsin, and you had quite the childhood growing up. I see you sitting at the piano. So before you have new music out, and I want to talk about your music, but is it true that you're a self-taught piano player?
Yes. So I started learning piano by ear in the 4th grade. Actually, just pause 1 second. My computer's going to die, so I need it to be plugged up. The plug is downstairs somewhere. Raymond knows where it's at. So I'm going to start that answer over. Yes. But yes, it's amazing to kind of come full circle from being this young kid who found, sort of my spirit through music like this. I was able to tap into really spirituality through music first. For me, it was like, music is a lot about being able to listen more than it is about making a sound. It is like the greatest musicians are really good listeners, can hear things and almost mimic things back. And I just remember I would put a tape. I think at the time I had a CD. I also had the tape player, the small player that I would play like Brandy's music on, or I would play different things when I was even younger. Like I would listen to the radio and I would just play it back on the keyboard. And so that's how I learned, was like listening to the radio, and then I would play it back what I heard. I didn't have money. We didn't have money for lessons and things like that in the beginning. But after my parents recognized that I had sort of a natural music talent, they were like, okay, we got to get you into lessons. So I did eventually learn piano and theory, and I can also sight read and things like that. But, you know, being trans, being a Black trans woman, my journey kind of made me choose between like surviving and having space for creativity and creative expression.
Well, you've been very open and honest about your own childhood and the struggles that you've had. When you, as a school teacher, I teach 5th grade in New Jersey in real life when I'm not getting to talk to amazing people like you. And so many students have come to me, and either they're transitioning, they're coming out to their families, they tell me their struggles. You've been very open and honest about it. You have talked about that. I know it wasn't an easy journey for you. Would you care to share a little bit about how that was for you as a child?
Yeah, I think, you know, what's really unfortunate is our culture truly gaslights LGBTQ youth and people to make it seem like us being the way that we are is either some kind of fad, it's everything but what it actually, they think it's everything but what it actually is, which is just a part of our innate nature. But what's so odd to me coming from these folks is they're sometimes the first people to see it in us before we see it in ourselves. So I know as a child, I'm getting bullied for behavior that I don't even know what it means at the time, you know? So it's like, I'm just being myself. And so if being gay is not natural or whatever, why am I automatically, you know what I'm saying, behaving this way in ways that you recognize as something that I don't even identify or understand quite yet? So I think it's disingenuous, and it's very much a gaslighting experience when our society acts as if they don't see they don't see it too. They do see it, and they pretend to not see it, or they want to be in denial. But as LGBTQ people, our life begins when we come up out of that denial. That's when the life begins. And for me as a young person, you know, I tried denying it for so long. I went to church, I fasted, I prayed, you know, I did everything I thought I could do to turn myself around, and realized that I was fighting my innate nature. I was fighting what was natural to me and didn't need to.
Absolutely. I relate. I can absolutely relate. And I know that your journey you've done before being an actor, you have had many jobs. You had quite the job. I mean, you were in the Navy. You worked from anything from Applebee's to a corporate job to everything for survival, truly.
Yeah.
And those years, those like hungry years, that it really is about surviving, right? And creating your own support system.
Yeah, and it's also about, you know, I feel like everyone's life is a master class if you're willing to pay attention. And, you know, the process, I remember one of the big, strong musical influence when I was younger, I loved Christina Aguilera. And I remember listening to The Voice Within, you know, that song. And it was just at a time when you think about, and people say Angelica Ross or think about me now, and they're like, oh, she's strong. So, you know, her voice, you know, she says this or that or what have you. When I was younger, I didn't have command of my voice, literally and figuratively. I did not know how to use my voice as an instrument. I sang and I did different things, but like I truly hadn't found, I didn't break through. I hadn't broken through yet. And it's interesting now that I think about it, kind of in hindsight, it's interesting because I have been able to rediscover my voice literally as musically, but it didn't come until after I discovered my voice figuratively, you know, and became a strong voice in our culture and so like all of a sudden now my voice, and I'm working with vocal coaches and with my music and stuff like that, and I have a command of my instrument that I just did not have when I was younger. So it's really a process of you finding your voice. It's a process of you strengthening, your voice. And what's included in that voice is the ability to communicate to the world. What that means is telling the world who you are, what you stand for, and what you don't stand for. And that has to, for some people, that comes over time. For some people, they're, a little stronger when they're younger, starting out the gate. But I will have to say that the journey in general for LGBTQ people is about finding your voice and standing strong in who you are.
Amen. Like I can't say it better than that. And speaking of your voice, not only we're going to talk about the music, but you have also taken your platform and done give back to youth as well. You have a charity organization that you created, Trans Tech, and can you tell us a little bit about what the intention is behind it and what you've been doing with this organization?
I have been radicalized by my community. Just because I'm Black and trans, does not mean that I have the same experience as other Black trans folks. There's variations in all of us. And so I've had to learn to live my life and my politics in a way that's beyond my own experience. Because as a Black trans woman with cis assumed privilege, which just means that people assume that I'm cisgender, with that kind of privilege, I don't have the same experiences as somebody who's not cis assumed, who is read as trans everywhere they go. So I have to be able to sort of advocate for us all in those situations. So Trans Tech really came together in a space that said, I understand the treacherous path, that we must take sometimes in these very inclusive worlds. But capitalism is not going anywhere, right? There's a lot of nastiness with capitalism. It's exploitative. It's lacks morals so many times. There's so many things around capitalism. But what I've done with Trans Tech and with my own life is to try to model ways to navigate around the BS, around the challenges, knowing that no challenge that is put in front of us is greater than the power within ourselves. So it's a hard conversation because it's not a one size fits all conversation. Just like the technology is, when I say technology, I don't just mean coding. I mean technology that helps people keep up, like ASL interpretation and captions. I'm talking about when people are doing music and film, in audio engineering and lights. I'm talking about cameras and video editing and YouTube. I'm talking about being able to work a credit card process or swipe a credit card so you can charge for the services that you're doing or what have you. I'm talking about tech on all the levels. So Trans Tech was created to create a safe, brave space for LGBTQ plus folks and our allies to share skills, job opportunities, to get support in their entrepreneurship, their entrepreneurial endeavors. But it really goes to say that there is no one way. You must find your own way, and it has to be curated to your own innate interests and talents and things like that. So, but you also have to be willing to spend the time. So it's a really interesting space when we talk about it being a nonprofit that's also working next to like capitalistic structures. But what we're saying is, while we try to dismantle this system, while we try to open up more avenues, here are ways for you to survive in the meantime, and not just survive, but actually thrive on something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be coding. If you love music, be willing to learn audio engineering, or, some of the technical things that are not about being in front of a camera or being a star or performing. Because even if you want to be that thing, even if you want to be an actor, a musician, or anything, the best ones know something about the craft and the theory and some part of it. So start there. Trans tech is about letting people understand that they can start somewhere, and it doesn't have to be somewhere big. You can start right where you are and begin the journey of, because so many, they're looking at the Instagram, they're looking at all these different things and seeing this instant thing of, oh, I want that. I want to live this. I want to do that. What we're trying to do is open up the pathway to say, here is step one, though. If you want that, here's step one. And that might take 5 to 10 years to get there. Are you willing to stay on the path for that time?
I think I see that with my own students. I know you probably see that with yours, and taking that first step is so important, and the support. It's the same thing when people say to me, I want to be an actor. I'm going to go on an audition. Well, did you go to school? Did you study it's not, people just don't pick up sides and book a TV. I mean, some people do, but you need to know, you have to some foundation. The foundation will support you when jobs, I hear you. It's a beautiful project. What a wonderful charity organization. When you were talking about being cisgendered, and that is a big conversation in the LGBTQ community about, the passing as straight, or passing as a man, or passing as a woman. I read this, and listen, my limitations as a white man in this world, I want to learn and listen. So my question to you is, you had a relationship or situation. There have been times where people have asked you to not be truthful about being trans. People that love you.
I mean, it's interesting. It really is interesting because, when it comes to dating, or when it comes to anything like that, if I were living my life just for myself, there have been several men who have asked me, hey, why not just take the cape off? How about we just, if you're doing all this work and fighting just so that you all can be loved and treated just like anybody else, then why not let me do that? Why not let me just, you don't have to be trans woman on the suit with a cape on that educates the whole world, but I always go back to the understanding that privilege is power. And it's power in a world where so many people feel powerless. We each need to be able to wake up to how we can transmute, transform our power, our privilege into power. So when I talk about privilege, I'm talking about the fact that I'm sitting here looking at you, and I can see you, and I can hear you. I'm able-bodied. That's a privilege that people take for granted. And just like there are white people who take their white privilege for granted, they don't understand that even it's just on all the levels, there's ways that whiteness moves in this world. And just because you choose to not pay attention to it, or you choose to try to separate yourself from something you can't, Black people will tell you, because we try for, I don't know how long in certain settings for survival, to try to separate ourselves from the Blackness. It don't work.
It doesn't work.
It has a real world effect, just like the whiteness and all the things. So there's a real world effect to me going after my dreams in a job and not being clocked as trans. There's a privilege in me being able to move around the world and feel a little bit safer, a little bit. And I say a little bit because I'm still read as a woman, period. And walking through the world as a woman, period, is unsafe in this world. So it really is encouraging yourself to give up the illusion that you are more special than someone else. I'm a celebrity. I'm on TV. I'm famous. None of that's going to protect my Black trans ass from a transphobic society.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, when we think about Ukraine, and you better think about Palestine too.
Mhm.
You got to think about Uganda. You got to think about the stuff that's happening in Detroit and Chicago. And I mention all these different things to say that who are you to think that you deserve to be immune from all the chaos that's going on in the world? From school shootings to police brutality to racism to violent patriarchy to war, all the different things. Like, I hate that there's a war going on right now anywhere in the world. But who am I to sit over here and try to protect my comfort zone when, girl, somebody coming for America, because that girl got karma coming. America.
I hear you. I 100%.
You know,
The
the
perspective.
fact that we won't give Black people reparations, and there have been reparations made towards various communities, from Jewish communities to Japanese communities, everyone else, that we're all supposed to remember. But when it comes to slavery, the narrative is the past we should forget, and we want to close the history books and not tell nobody about it. And it's being greenlit and sanctioned all over. So the situation that we're in is because we have not yet recognized that when someone else is being violated, we are being violated too. Like we just see our lives as separate, and it's unfortunate. It's a detachment from God and from the spirituality that people claim to have. It's a detachment, because if you're tapped in, you understand, I need to stand up today for everything and everyone, because tomorrow they're going to be coming for me and my children. So I need to stand up today.
Absolutely. And that is why it's so inspiring to hear you talk and use your platform for good. I know you're a very spiritual person. You've been outgoing about, your religion and all of that. And I'm sure it keeps you, because I was going to say, when we live in a world that is aggravating and infuriating on a daily basis, there's something terrible on a daily basis. And the people that are supposed to help us that don't do anything on a daily basis, and then push a narrative that makes us look like good guys versus the rest of everyone. And I mean guys.
Yeah.
And then you keep your I don't know how you wouldn't go through the world. I mean, Black trans women's life expectancy is still 35 years old in this country, when the rest of us are 78, 79 years old. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. How do you keep your peace?
That's a good question. What I will say is I work at keeping my peace. I work at creating peace. I work for it. And so it's just not something that unfortunately in our society, it's not something that we can take for granted, that we can think that we can feel entitled to. It's unfortunate. We should feel entitled to a little peace, but how I not lose my cool You know, there's this saying in a lot of different spiritual spaces, but definitely obviously in Buddhism and things, where it talks about dying before you die. And what that just means is like really dying to the old self and to the things that you're holding on to, that you're clinging to. So the reality is I'm living my wildest dream right now. As a trans woman who's been through all I've been through, I'm now living in an environment that is reflecting back to me my value, my creativity, my love, and all these things. And I am 41 now and experiencing this. And some days I've had this experience of almost like mourning, because I know that at some point this has to end. And so you have to grapple with those feelings before it does, sort of situation. And so just understanding the temporariness of life. Some days are great, but you can't think that, you know, in Buddhism, we talk about the 10 worlds all the way up to heaven and things like that. And the world of heaven is where everything is perfect. But the reality is, like when a school shooting happens or when different things happen, you have to learn spiritually how to keep yourself in a space that doesn't drag you all the way into the depths of hell, of experiencing hell right here on earth. And unfortunately, collectively, we are experiencing hell on earth around the world. The way out of that is to be the peace. You have to be the gateway. So you can't like go looking for it outside. When the closest thing to you is you. So you have to, from that moment, create peace. And then what I've learned as a Buddhist in certain spaces, I know now how to go to hell. So let me tell you something. When y'all want to tell me to go to hell, trust me, I done been there. I know how to get there and back. And what I'm gonna tell you is, in hell, I know how to go where people are in hell and to sit with the suffering, sit with them amongst these things and not be broken, not be destroyed or overwhelmed by the flames. And in creating that opening in space, be able to guide that person out of that hellish space. Otherwise, we can be, commiserating in hell together. You understand what I'm saying? We can all talk about and commiserate about how hellish planet Earth is and all this is. But who gonna bring the light? Who gonna bring the sunshine? You understand what I'm saying? You can't rely on, and it's a situation right now where we come into a society where there's government and everything else, where we have been conditioned to rely on things outside of ourselves for the joy we need, for the affirmation, for all the things when we can uproot ourselves from any environment, from a conversation, from a family, from a city. We can uproot ourselves to go get what we need.
And from within. Yes, we're a society that is always looking for it, and until we find it, that's a deep word. That is a deep word, and that is something I'm probably going to take with me, and being that peace and that joy, because we really can get stuck in the mud and all be miserable together, and then we all lose. We're all
easily on Twitter. I can go on Twitter right now and commiserate right now because there's a whole bunch of foolery going on right now. But let me tell you something. I don't even know what Ricky Gervais said. I don't even know. I just know that they talking about him and somebody else, and there's been some. I don't care. Nope. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I really am so peaceful in my thing that I could go online and be like, "Now y'all know this is wrong, and he shouldn't have did this and said that, and blah blah blah." Or I can have a V8.
Speaking of joy, before I let you go, that was the line of the day. I'm gonna have a V8 after this, and cheers to that. I was listening to a playlist yesterday on my walk out here in New Jersey, and I heard a single, and it made me. I listened to it for 35 minutes from Fort Lee, New Jersey, to the George Washington Bridge and back. It features you, and it is this song that it is Fierce that you're on. And I was, by the end of it, I was posting it, tagging it. I was ready to call you mother. I was here for it. I was in the street. I was just doing it right down the street. So you can stream that. And then you have a single. You have a single called
Yes.
that is coming out.
Yes.
The single is coming out. It's streaming everywhere. Before I let you go, will you just let us know where and why and what we're about to hear?
Yes. So, with the Fierce song, I did that in a collaboration with Mila Jam and Ultra Nate, who's just an icon in the music industry. So we did that song as a collaboration to really bring together sisterhood between trans and cis women. So that song you can stream out now. The music video for that actually will be out, I think, towards the end of the month. But my debut single as a solo artist, Only You, is premiering on June 3rd. Hopefully it'll be available on all platforms. And the reason I say hopefully is because, listen, I'm an independent artist. Okay. I'm an independent label. I submitted the things, but I didn't have all the leeway time and stuff like that, whatever. My fans want it. They want it now. So I'm like, okay, we're going to drop it. And as soon as it's available, it's going to be available. But June 3rd is the date. And I believe that you'll be able to see it. There's definitely a couple media outlets that are going to be premiering it. So I will just say, stay tuned to my Instagram at Angelica Ross and my Twitter at Angelica Ross. And that's where you'll get the news as soon as it drops. This Friday, June 3rd.
Well, you have a beautiful voice. You are such a beautiful actress.
Thank you.
You're a beautiful person, inside and out, truly. I'm so excited to see what's next. I know that you are cooking all sorts of fun projects that are coming down the pipe. You're not going anywhere.
Honestly, I'm looking, as you're having this conversation, I'm having kind of a weird moment because it's like I've been channeling Tina Turner, and I just looked at myself and I was like, I love it. Girl, are you really trying to channel Tina? But I just really, my Buddhist practice has been solidified by knowing her story and knowing how she came to the practice and turned her whole life around. And how also as a musician, as a woman, becoming a superstar in her 40s. And so like I'm at this place where I'm feeling super inspired by women like Tina Turner. And I just only hope that, my fans, everyone out there, they're ready for this next chapter because I've been holding this all in for so long. I'm ready to let it out.
Well, everyone could go to MissRoss.com. You can follow at Angelica Ross. She's going to be doing Pride events in LA. She's going to be hosting New York Pride in New York City. So make sure you find her and stream the music and be ready to be continued. And we're here for it.
Yes, thank you so much.
So honored to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here. Angelica's Only You is streaming now. Make sure you check it out. She's a deep. And there you go. Angelica Ross, Pose. That scene in Pose. And she said, people still talk about it. I don't want to talk about it as she doesn't want to talk about it because she's got a lot of great music. But I live for Candy. Stream it. Yeah, she was super informative, Christine, and she has a lot of words of wisdom with some humor. She kept it really real how she feels. She's controversial a little, but she's real. But when she said, I can go on Twitter and get involved in all the mess, or I can have a V8, I can't. I was dead. Thank you, Christy. Well, the group of the hosts, you know what? Instead of me giving you a big giant introduction, why don't we just let me show you what the next group is all about. Take a peek at, if you think this show is a messy good time, take a peek at this.
If you tell told me Nicki Minaj was a drag queen, I would believe it. Everything about her, like a drag queen, is an addition.
I come from extreme self-hatred. I came out the womb with a mom who didn't want me. And that's why I always say I've lived the pain.
I was gonna say, I love my bears.
Hello, not real bears.
Just a person who is of a certain weight class and usually hairy. They are subcultures within the gay community.
I will say that I do not identify as trans only because I identify as pangender, which means that I say my soul is both male and female. Internally, I feel fine.
I used to fake orgasms all the time.
Oh.
These aren't the kind of poppers Antonio's used to.
What moisturizer do you use?
Semen.
But was this that kind of mask, or was this more pleasure chest mask?
I wish.
Who we got dining with us tonight?
Samson McCormick.
She a diamond.
Amy Stratton.
Fred Rosser.
Hello. Knee hug. Oh, snap.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Thank y'all for inviting a black trans woman to the table.
And he told the audience, he said, can you believe they were gonna let a fag open the show for me?
When I was wrestling with WWE, I wasn't comfortable with myself.
LGBTQ plus teens have higher suicide rates. I've experienced a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety.
You know, dancing for RuPaul, that was the first time I saw two men operate in just a normal way.
I posed nude for Paper Magazine after Love and Hip Hop. I was approached by Flesh Jack. Now, the dildo is the #1 best-selling adult toy on the market right now. I've sold over 1 million.
Don't be rude.
I want you to mind your business.
Well, see now, how is that gonna bring the love to you, baby? You should have came and supported me.
I got aunties who been down to the pen.
4 years, 5 months in the penitentiary.
I don't care if you don't like how somebody looks or what they think about it. Keep it to your damn self. And if you don't keep it to your damn self, you deserve to be checked.
You know what? If I checked everyone who disrespected me,
Then you keep checking. Check, 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 check.
What?
You check every that need a check.
y'all get lit up in here, honey.
I believe everything stems from childhood.
I like to send my ass pic.
So they ain't just killing your trans sisters, they are killing black men too.
You don't have to be on those fringes to be accepted.
Go home and be the happiest bitch in Los Angeles, because that's who I am.
And once you come to the house, they are always what?
Family! Yay! Well, next time, don't try to make me wait so long at the door.
All right, everybody, right now on Fox Soul, which you can see at www.foxsoul.tv, do you know there's a show that is a unique perspective into the community, the community and others and people of color, LGBTQI plus community? Do you know that Fox Soul has thousands and thousands of hours of programming? And if you want a true representation and really hear the truth and what's real, and get some real answers to some real questions, we have the cast of the house, the hosts of that. I think they call themselves family, or they have dinner, they chat. Let's bring them out here. Antonio, Aaron, Cheryl, and Chris, welcome to the Roundtable.
Hi, Robert.
I am living for all of you. Firstly, you all give such good looks. You all give such good advice. I fell into a YouTube rabbit hole of your show, and I know what I'm doing all weekend now. That's it. The end. I guess if we could take it a person at a time. Antonio, you are a life psychologist.
Yes.
So how did you start? When did you start doing this? And what is your expertise? What do you bring to this table every episode?
I'll take them in the order you asked them. First, yes, I am a life coach, a former psychotherapist. I decided to become a psychotherapist in my early 40s, and I practiced as a therapist for about 7.5 years. And what I found with therapy, things are changing since I became a therapist originally in terms of mental health and well-being in general. And it's becoming more of something that's seen as a necessity and not just a luxury. I became a therapist in the time when it was more of a luxury, and it remains a luxury in many ways today. But what I found with working with clients was that most people showed up in my office after they experienced some kind of crises. but I really was about helping people elevate and next level, what I call next level living. But when the crisis was over, they were usually gone. And so I never really got to do the work I wanted to do. I really didn't go into the mental health field to be a crisis manager. So I decided to shift my work and become a coach instead, because people usually enter my space now from a different headset, a different place in their life, and they're really ready to elevate to the next level. So that's how I transitioned from being a therapist to a coach. And I'm very happy that I did. And what I bring to the on the show, I think, is not only my experiences in both the psychotherapy realm, working with all kinds of clients as a coach, but just my own personal experience in life growing up and being a father and navigating the LGBTQIA+ community for the last 40+ years, both as a advocate and fighter for the rights of our community, and leveraging all of that to engage with our guests as they come to join us for dinner.
Well, mental health should be a human right everywhere, especially I'm a school teacher in real life. I teach 5th grade, and on a daily basis we have to advocate parents to try to get the children that need help, because it's still a stigma in so many places, and it's still something that is a scary word to say. Maybe you need to take someone to talk to someone, and people are nervous. So the representation and conversations you guys are having is so needed across the board. Aaron, I love your crown.
Yes.
I love it. Happy Pride. How are you doing? You are actor, comedian, writer. You do a little bit of everything. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Well, I have to ask you a question. You said you teach 5th grade.
I do.
And I used to teach 6th grade. I'm going to ask you if my secret works for you, because every age group is different. So my secret with 6th grade was treat them like they're adults, because they're at that age where they want to be adults so badly and they're not quite there yet. But if you treat them as if they are, oh my gosh, they'll be the best kids ever.
I say 5th grade is great because they're still young enough that they're scared of you, but they're old enough that they don't have to, like, no tissues, no tying shoes, but they want to be treated maturely, and they have an opinion and they have a point of view, and they want to be treated with respect. They want to have a conversation. So I co-sign 100%.
All right. Yeah. So that's what I come from. Education. I was going to be a professor, and at the end of my program, I failed half of my exam, which was the easier half of, this is for a PhD. And I had a take-home part and an in-class part, and I passed the in-class part, and the take-home part, which it was an open book. So, how do you fail an open book test?
I have plenty of students that do, so don't feel bad. No.
So they're like, well, you have a year to retake it. And then, and I'm like, good grief, my heart is just not in it. And even looking at the job itself, it just didn't suit me. I said, I really want to just be authentic. I want to open up the curtain and let everyone into every aspect of my life for the purpose of helping someone else. And academia wasn't quite the path for that. And so I said, instead of preparing for this exam, let me move to Hollywood and try my luck there. I said, I think I would be happier as a starving artist than as a successful professor who is just not quite happy with who I am.
Wow. Aaron, now I feel seen. Hold. That's going to take a conversation. Not to take away from Chris and Cheryl, one moment, please. Please. I'm a teacher for 15 years. I have an album in my one-man show. It's called Unfinished Business, because I stopped myself from performing and being an artist for 16 years because I was afraid, and went into education as my backup plan. And through many years, felt grateful to have a paycheck and to do a show in front of my kids, but never felt like it fully fulfilled who I was. So kudos to you for the bravery it takes to say, I'm going to defy the norms and do what I need to do.
Yes.
Oh.
That's some real stuff. Okay. Chris, I'm scared. My hair does not look good. Don't judge. I'll do it right. Tell us about.
Mine doesn't either.
No, it's beautiful. Tell us about all about you and what you bring to the show, to the house.
Wow. Wow, that's a great question. I think I bring a little bit of Renaissance man to the show. So I'd like to pride myself on being someone that is very open-minded and willing to explore and listen and try new things. And I think that on the show, I push for that. I advocate for that. I think that being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, that as we all try to identify individually, I want to keep reminding us that we still are a whole, and that nurturing that and reminding us that we still need to support each other as a group as we self-identify is important to me. So I think I bring that voice and the uniqueness of style and perception and vision, because that also plays a part. We often talk about, so much about what we do as a group, as a community, is so attached to aesthetic and beauty and style. And the idea that then when we're identifying ourselves, that we would abandon that for the sake of, identity, for me is a little like contradictory. So I like to challenge the contradiction.
I love that. Well, and he's very modest, but if you are, he's quite the colorist, stylist, fashionista that he is. So so if you're in his area and you see him coming through with his roadshow of beauty and regimen, you better stop and get an appointment. And then, Miss Cheryl, I read your story. You have one heck of a story. What do you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you bring to the house?
Well, the very first thing I want to say again, thank you for having us.
Oh.
We're the little engine that is, and we love it. Aaron created this. I watched Aaron birth it. Kurt T. Jones put us on his back, showrunner, director, and everything else. Doug DeLuca put his name on this to give us the ability to come through the door. And Robert Bannon, I want to say, I have a living room with a couch, and I can't even tell you how many people have lived in this living room. And at any given time, you can quit everything and you can come to my living room. So I just want you to know that. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. And tears are in my eyes. So we respect you for saying, hey, I want that paycheck. I want it to be steady. I understand. Aaron, he swung from vine to vine. I did too. And here we are with you. So what I bring to the house is a perspective from a non-traditional female. Chris was on the interview the other day. He said she's no lady. I love it. I thought that's right. I'm not a lady, which means I don't fit into the whole stereotype of what is supposed to be a woman is supposed to be appropriate. So I feel like that's why I fit so into this show. I tell everybody I used to be gay and I used to be straight. Now I just get in the bed and go to sleep by 8. I don't have to claim any titles. And that's where I'm at. I'm love. And I love the fact that I push for my specifically the Black male. And I'm here to just be that voice that just refuses to fit in the box. Many people feel like I should hide under a rock and let me go to jail real quick. Let me hit prison real quick. Let me go to prison right here. I always do on every episode. And everybody, I really feel like, many say, hey, you're supposed to be ashamed. You shouldn't talk about that. Just talk about being the clinical psychologist. Don't go back to that ex-convict stuff. But I'm just going to be authentic in every moment. And that's what I'm here for, to show that part.
Well, you're beautiful, and you all are such inspirations, and your stories are so needed. Aaron, how did you come up with this idea? How do you describe what the house on Fox Soul is, and what is its intention of the episodes?
Well, I will say that there was a journey to get here, but to skip towards the end of the creative process, I thought about my circle at home, the other Black gay guys that are very similar to me in demographic, that when we get together and have dinner parties, off the freaking wall. I mean, can you imagine, I mean, you can see the conversations, that was the vision. And I think that is what we got. We got some explosive conversations that were so raw and just almost like, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm watching this. That's how I feel when I'm with my closest friends. So
it's a brilliant idea. What a brilliant idea, and what an amazing platform. I have to be honest. I saw Fox Soul. I had not seen it, and then I started to watch all the other programming besides yours. And it's such an important. And as a queer artist who is in an interracial relationship with another artist, it's so nice to hear perspectives of what I understand where he comes from, and I understand his history and from our conversations, but it's nice to hear things talked about in the open. It's not huddled and hushed in a corner somewhere. And that's what you guys are bringing to the table, literally to the table. When can people see it? How does it air? Can you give us a little history about Fox Soul? So if you're at home and you want to download the app or get information, we can send you somewhere.
Yeah. Does anyone want to grab that? You're muted, Antonio.
Friday nights, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You can watch the show live. You can see it on YouTube /Fox Soul /The House, or you can download the Fox Soul app if you have Spectrum, Apple TV, Roku, etc. And you can Google it if all else fails.
If all else fails, I heard that.
It's amazing. Well, and from the business standpoint, I don't know if Chris, Cheryl, Aaron, Antonio, whoever wants to take the question. I know that you talked about Doug DeLuca from Jimmy Kimmel Live, and you talked about the team that's behind Fox Soul. It's not easy to get a program on any platform on television. It's not easy, especially an LGBTQIA plus program, a program of color, a program. This is not the white straight show that everyone's watching on television. So. Which no one wants to. That's what people talk to me about Broadway. No, I don't want to see some white princess from a Disney movie. I want to see the truth. I want to see people's stories. How was the fight to get this on the air? How long did it take you guys to formulate this?
I think Cheryl should take this. I handed a document to Cheryl with an idea on it. She took it to Doug. She knows every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, I came in executive producing, after a very lengthy experience, like 25 years, 6 months to be exact. And that is to say to any and everybody, whatever you do, do not give up. I believe in Aaron's creativity. I always have. And when he came up with this show, I thought, wow, a space where you can just be, a space that if you haven't had the hard story of life, you can be that example. And if you have had a hard story of life, you can be that example. So I took it to Doug, and Doug, did he not call you, Aaron? Like
that same day?
Yes, he did.
He really loved that idea, and he's been passionate, and he's been involved in every step of the way as well, which is amazing. I still am like, I don't get it. You could be doing anything, but we are kind of explosive. I said that word once before, but we're a handful. We have issues. We have real issues.
Well, yeah, Doug stepped into the trauma of, a lot of top, backstory of coming through this society in this skin color, and he has had to experience that.
And Robert, I just wanted to add that Cheryl and Aaron actually thought I was boring initially. Imagine that.
Were we wrong?
I said,
what? Listen to this. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he said that, because what really happened, first and foremost, nobody would ever believe that I did not want to do this. I had laid with Robin Williams back in the day. I saw how he was tortured. And then I got to Doug and I said, well, he's not out front. So Aaron, for the record, made me do this. And everything was shut down. And when we had to come on Zoom and get to know each other. And so we felt like, you know, Chris was doing a lot, and I didn't know Chris, and Aaron didn't know Chris. So we had no way to dislike. And that's the saddest part about it, that we started off with that kind of energy. It was somebody else from Cleveland. And we said, oh, while flying them in and the budget and that whole bit. So it wasn't hardly that we didn't think you were, you know, we didn't know one way or the other. It was just a real tight time. But you have been a wonderful character.
I know. I just think it's funny that you thought I was boring.
I think it's funny too.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. There's no other way to say it.
Aaron gives Cheryl the idea. Cheryl, she, like, I read about you. You're like, write a letter to Ice Cube, and the rest is history. That's how you do it. And so that's ask and you shall receive. So how did you find Antonio and Chris? Chris, with all the controversy that is surrounding him, how did it all come together?
You know what? I kept going to Doug, and I'm gonna tell you something. In this town, they'll be like, "Wow, that's good, that's nice." Pat you on the head, like, "Oh, figure that out. You know, maybe you'll come back," and then let you chase your tail for a long time. And then finally, someone named Anthony Perkins, I don't bring his name up enough, none of us do, who had known me many years, took me to Kurt T. Jones and set me down. And Anthony was like, look at it. Look at it. Just look at this. Can you do anything? And Kurt was like, let me tell you something. And that was pretty much it. Kurt gave me the rules, like, go get it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll be back. And then I got Kurt to Doug DeLuca, and Doug said, Cheryl, you know, where'd you get Kurt T. Jones? You know, I like that guy. You went and got your big guns. Kurt put this on his back. Antonio, am I right? Chris, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kurt is new to the show, actually. Kurt reached out to me about the show. And my biggest concern about the show is, what a lot of people don't know, is that my undergraduate degree is in radio, film, and television. And I've never worked in the industry, but that was what my training was in, producing, actually, with a business minor. And so when he brought the show to me, being an author and having, you know, written a book and done other things, what I know happens with artistic product is that if it gets in the wrong hands, it becomes something else. And so when he reached out to me, that was my concern. And I said, I love the premise, but what I need is assurance from you that the authenticity can be there, because I'm coming not to be a character. I'm coming to make a contribution that's built on many, many years of hard work and sweat equity, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to always be in control of my narrative and my image. So I know how reality shows can go. And if you guys are wanting to play those kind of games, I'm not the one. And I'll go on the record and say that integrity that he showed me in that initial phone call has been exactly what I've experienced with the show. The show has stayed true to what it says it is. And a nod to Fox for opening the door and taking a chance on, as Cheryl called us, the little engine that is. I think that we're all equally grateful for that, because a lot of times the industry does not want to allow you to be authentic. They want to package you the way they want to. So.
And Robert, Kurt was also the person who brought me on board as well.
Well, Chris, I want to ask you, just so that people know, what are some of the conversations you guys have had, and what are the conversations you're having? Can you give us a quick rundown of some topics that you guys have talked about?
Well, you know, some of the things that I think that we often kind of battle around is all of the letters with LGBTQIA+, and as we continue to add, and kind of the significance of the adding of the letters to identify individuals, and versus the inclusion. And then does it feel more separating than coming together? So I think that's often a hot topic. One of the other topics we often talk about is the violence to transgender women, specifically of color, and that has been on the rise, and kind of ways in which we can sort of manage that. And then the exploration of the idea that you can just be whoever you want to be, and that it can change. And so, and right now, the other piece that has been a hot topic are the pronouns, and kind of who's dictating what is the parameter around the pronouns. And that in a lot of corporations right now, it's June 1st, they're having meetings and conferences, and making people aware, and it's great. But then what is that informed narrative around inclusion? And so, and who's deciding what is the standard? And so, and who chooses? So those are just some of the things off the top of my head.
Well, I can literally think in my own community, dozens of people who need to see this show. I needed this show when I was young.
Oh, wow.
Because my own story is, I came out at 32. I was married. I was with for 16 years. I love what Cheryl said. Like, I've been gay and I've been straight and that's how and now embedded 8 as well. And not everyone has a typical traditional story, and to have a place to feel at home is very hard for many people, to feel unjudged and not here to be picked on and ridiculed and told who you are. So you've created this safe space where you can disagree. Do you disagree like The View? Are you going to have a split screen and fight and throw things at each other?
I know, but you know what, Robert? One of the things that I love about our show that is different and uniquely special is that we do it over dinner. So that we have an appetizer moment where it's just us, where we kind of warm it up, and then the meat of the issues come out with our guests, pun intended. So and then by the time we get to dessert, it gets a little bit more tasty and delightful, and we talk a bit more intimately. So that I love the fact that we say, oftentimes in Black families, we are in these spaces, and as queer people or gay people or however you identify, sometimes in different households, you're either ignored, or you're either highly accepted, or you're shunned. And so, but you often still just want to be a part of the dinner and part of the collaboration over food. And so it's a great place to actually be able to communicate. And so I love that we've been able to bring that element into our talk show. It's great.
And that's a good point, because now you're talking about Sean. We have to mention Sean, who is our chef, and Sean is straight. And Sean is at times we're shaking at the first season.
We added Ro, because we had Ro who was serving our cocktails.
But I want to say to Sean being straight and finding a way to find comfort. First season, you could tell the anxiousness of him just stepping forward and willing to do this. So I'm saying from now on that this is an LGBTQ talk show dinner party where straights and gays come together. We come together. And Antonio, Chris, and Aaron, I don't know if they like the word tolerance. Rough on the tongue. But I just feel like if someone can look at a beautiful transgender female and say, I can't stand, but I won't kill them. Can we tolerate each other? And then maybe once we get to tolerance, we can go, well, maybe this person isn't so bad. Now awareness has popped in. Is this just a human being? And as I rap, I'm constantly like, how could you be concerned with who's between someone's legs? Are you doing the work that takes? Then if you're not, you should be a little more comfortable with whoever someone chooses to love.
Well, I know I've kept you all too long, but I have one more thing that I want to just say. And if you have to run, I understand. Because as you bring this up, I had this conversation with my classroom, because someone asked me yesterday at a Pride event, are you out in your classroom? And I said, well, it's a hard thing because I'm not out. Like, I don't walk in the first day and say, hey, I'm the gay teacher, Mr. Bannon. But I also live this double life where I get to perform and sing and act. And when people ask me about my life, my sexuality, and the music I put out is part of the story. So this first day of school, when the kids go home and Google Robert Bannon, well, there it is. So a kid yesterday brought me a piece of paper that they drew the pride flag on and said, I'm gay too. And the other kids saw it, and they had this reaction of like, he's gonna be mad because this is calling him gay. You know what I mean? So it became this teachable moment, and I couldn't answer because I needed to really compose myself to think about how am I going to answer this correctly, because this is like a real teachable moment. So I need to sit at the dinner table with you because I needed your advice. I needed your help.
I would love to know what you said.
I told them, I sat them down and I said, you all know my personal life. You all have seen it. You've all looked at it. And I said, why would you think I'm mad? Because if you call me gay, I'm not insulted because that's who I am. And if you're gay, if you're a lesbian, if you're queer, if you're you all have people you know and love that are a part of this community. So it's not an insult. So when you say to me, I'm gay, I am. That's it. And I wish we could destigmatize the language, because for me, it's like, it's still that your mom's gay, your shoes are gay, you act gay. It's still a part of this adolescence and grown-ups who use this language. So I'm trying in my own little community to try to change the stigma of what it means to be a queer person in the world. And it was a moment because some of the kids snapped and some of the kids clapped and some of the kids ignored me like usual. But it was a moment. I hope some of them take that with them. And I don't know if I handled it right, but we had a moment.
I'm a little extreme. I know this, and I don't have any proof of this, but I believe that everyone's queer in some way, and we are just pioneers at being open about it.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you for staying in the classroom with the youngsters, because if we can lay some foundation, then, you know, I was literally a 12-year-old mother, and I know those years are so crucial. So thank you for being there and addressing those topics for real.
Well, thank you guys for laying out your life on the line and being a force and a face and sharing that you're going to save a lot of people and make a lot of people feel a lot better about themselves. And I don't think there's a higher calling or a more admirable thing you can do than what you guys are all doing. So I'll be watching every Friday. You can download the app, go to foxsoul.tv. You can go to @foxsoul. We're going to run all of their Instagram handles are on the screen, and we'll have them attached to this. Make sure you say hey, and if you send them, I'm sure they want your questions and feedback, and watch. Make sure you watch every single Friday night or afterwards on YouTube. You guys are such a pleasure. Thank you all.
Robert.
There's the hosts of the house. They're such a beautiful family together. As you could see, they even aired some dirty laundry, but the communication is what makes things better. And since I booked them to be on the show, and we've been talking about this appearance, they have been wonderful. They're so wonderful and supportive. And Cheryl, which I got goosebumps. I still have goosebumps. 12-year-old mother. She talks on the show, and I didn't ask her about it, how that all came to be, the abuse that she went through and her life. And I love her. And Aaron and Antonio and Chris is a sweetheart. Chris is what a wonderful guy. What a wonderful people. Wow, my goodness. Angelica Ross, thank you. The house, watch tomorrow night on Friday. It's their finale, but you can watch all of them on YouTube. Christine says all 4 soul hosts of the house, the fam, are a beautiful thing, paving the way and helping the future together, showing that love is love is love is love. Spread love and be kind to all. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you, Abby. It was a fun roundtable for sure. Next week, like we said earlier, I'm so excited to finish Pride with people who have different jobs that we may not even think about as part of the LGBT community. So we have country comedy and Pride. Brian Ruby, who's a baseball star and a country star, will be here, as well as Zach Zimmerman, who's a stand-up comic, he's quite funny and on the come up. And then Hayden Josephs is here, who's a country star and a TikTok sensation. So don't miss. I'll be in Palm Springs, and I'll be here with you. Thank you all for being here. I love and appreciate you. You all make me feel so seen, heard, and appreciated. From my heart to yours, I hope to see you all again next week on Wednesday, the 29th. Peace, love, take care of you and yours. See you all then. Thank you, everybody.